Hey guys, welcome back. So today's viewer question is from Basil, and he wants to know where the fuse is for the airbag light on his 2006 Crown Vic. Well, not exactly. I was lurking around the comment section on a video by WJ and HandyDad, and I noticed he asked that question. So I decided to poke my nose in there and rattle off a brief description of where it was located based on the owner's manual. And I wasn't very much help. And I realized that Basil might not have access to the owner's manual or some other issue. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to make this video and give a brief overview of the Panther vehicle fuse box and some other information. So this should be a fun video. I'm going to include some basic information for beginners just getting into these cars, and it should be fun for you guys that have been watching and if you have Panther knowledge that is above average or expert level, because I'm going to purposely leave out some details and facts, and hopefully you can chime in down below in the comment section to help out some of these beginners just getting into these cars. So I've got some notes here to go through, and I got some fuses here to look at, and when we're done with this we'll go over to the car and show you where everything is located. So the first thing I want to talk about is these owner's manuals. So this is my owner's manual out of my 2010 Grand Marquis, and these things are great to have when you're out on the road or on a road trip, but when I'm home I really don't like to use these because I have a computer and I've got access to more current information. And these owner's manuals, you'll see on this one, it was written in June of 2009, and it says on here first printing. And when you get onto the website, you'll find that they have second, third, fourth, fifth, and even sometimes sixth editions where they add more up-to-date information in here. So I really don't like using these. So the website that I'm talking about, I'm going to leave a link down below for the Crown Vics and the Grand Marquis and the Lincoln Town Cars. And if you just click that link, it'll take you to the manufacturer website, and you can access the PDF versions of the owner's manuals, and they're going to be up to date. And my favorite thing about it is when I get to a particular section, what I can do is I can print it out and use it while I'm trying to diagnose or figure out my problem. So Basil, he's got a 2006 Crown Vic, and so I pulled all of the pertinent pages out of the manual, and so this is the first place where I usually like to start. And down here in the description, you've got a couple of things here. It says ignition, on, start, restraint, control module, occupant classification sensor, and this is what we want: passenger airbag deactivation indicator, or PADI, P-A-D-I. And we can see that it's in location number 22. And we can see the fuse rating is a 10 amp fuse. So that'll give us the fuse rating and where it's located. And another page on here that's pretty nice is it will tell you the color coding system of the fuses. And on this 10 amp fuse, it should be red. And also, depending on what year and model you're working on, it could be a mini fuse or a standard size fuse, and I've got some of those to show you. So once we know the location, amperage, and color of the fuse, we can start looking for where it's at. And this particular fuse is on the interior fuse box. And keep in mind there's also another fuse box under the hood. I'll show you that later. So this right here is going to be your diagram of the fuse box on the inside. And this one is in front of your left knee when you're sitting in the car. And so the fuse, Basil wants to know where it's at. It's this one right here, number 22. I've highlighted it in blue. So it's in the top row, fourth from the right. And so that'll tell you where it's at. And another thing I like to do is anytime I'm having an electrical problem, if I have time, I like to go through the fuses one by one to confirm and verify all of the fuses are in there and they're the correct rating and in the correct spot. Because I like doing that because sometimes a previous owner or a previous mechanic may have borrowed a fuse from one location and then put it in another location. And so I like to make sure that's not the case. And okay, so that's that. So another issue is I'm still not sure if it's if Basil is having the fuse which is causing his problem, or if it's a burnout bulb. So I put the link to WJ's and Handy Dad's video on how to fix the airbag light down below as well. Okay, so let's head on over to the car. So I'm going to show you the under hood fuse box first. Let me go get that diagram. So it's going to be right here underneath this little cover, and if you can wiggle this cover off gently, you'll be able to see that it has a diagram, or it has somewhat of a schematic written in to the bottom of the cover. There we go. And it'll have all the different locations of the fuses and relays and whatnot. And since my car is a 2010, it's a little different than the 2006. And you can see this relay number 302 is on the bottom, but on mine it's on the top. So make sure you have the correct manual for whichever car you're working on. And I'll give you a shot of this. So this is the underhood fuse box. Alright, now let's go inside. So the fuse box is going to be down in here, and same thing. Oh wait, oh yeah, it's on the back. So on the back of this cover, it's going to have a diagram of all the locations of the fuses, and that should help you out too. So let me give you a shot of the fuse box in here. So this, so the airbag fuse that Basil wants I'm touching it right now. It's going to be that one right there. So you'll notice there's a fuse puller in here, and these are great for when you're out on the road, but I don't really like them. So get yourself a pair of long nose pliers like this and pull it out. And I'm not going to pull this one out, I'm going to use the ones I got on the bench over there. So once you got your fuse out, most of the time you can tell if it's good or not just by looking at it. But I really don't, when it comes to diagnosing electrical problems like this, I really don't trust my eyes, because sometimes these fuses are a different color and it makes it difficult to see if this little link in there is burnt out or not. So what I like to do is I like to use my meter on the continuity setting, and I check each one to make sure it beeps. And so that it's just real easy for me to use my ears instead of my eyes to make sure this fuse is good or bad. And this one here is a standard size fuse, and you can see the difference is quite large. And another thing I like to do is whenever I get these fuses, when they're brand new, I still like to test them, because just because they're new, it doesn't mean they're good. I can't tell you how many times I've bought something and it's dead right out of the box. So I like to check those before I even get started. And one other thing I forgot to mention is before you start pulling the fuses, is it might be a good idea to take a picture of it with your cell phone. So one last tip I like to do is whenever I print out these sheets of the owner's manual, is I like to make my notes on the back side of this. And so if I'm successful in fixing whatever I fixed, I'll make a note of it, and then I'll file these in my little filing cabinet so that I have a reference for later on. Okay, so that's pretty much my introduction to the two fuse boxes in these Panther cars. And if you've got any other tips, or if I missed anything, go ahead and leave them down below in the comment section. Alright, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.